Alright, we should now be pushing only approximately 3 meg on the average, and we have not yet dropped any frames, so it tends to be quite difficult to guess and tune for the conditions here, like yeah, the speed test shows more, but it actually never does that much. So except when it is like that you have 250k upload and then it actually also does that much, which then it's no fun. But now it looks like we are no longer dropping frames, so let's get everything back in place and try again, shall we? So apologies for the restarts. We have now only dropped 65 frames, so this kind of, it's better, but apparently the conditions are quite hopeless. Hopeless tonight, which is very motivating. But yes, we apparently have reached some kind of balance with the whatever internet there remains. So we have only dropped 2.2% of all frames this far, so that's less frames missing, which leads to better experience. So that's not helping. We already have directional antennas for 2 frequencies, and there's another unit that is actually up at 3. And none of those help especially much. It would have to be even higher to get semi-line of sight. As there was a Twitter post once on a forum, you will get excellent hobby out of the internet if it is mobile based. Yes. So it is better, but it's not much better. Do you think it's sufficient? At least we are now pushing enough frames to apparently be visible. So welcome again. Thank you for your patience with the restarts, and let's then try and gradually move towards the game. Do hope you have all had a good weekend this far, and indeed have mostly recovered from all the convention responsibilities, so it is a good start for coming week, and we are certainly also going to do more stream wise, as we do now have quite stable schedule. The internet is less so, but apparently we only dropped those initial yes, fiber is the best option if they agree to actually dig edits and get you fiber. It is kind of too remote to get edits for fiber anytime soon, do suspect strongly. So it is kind of not the most probable event. It would be most excellent, and it would practically solve the issue altogether. But yes, it's not only a tiny bit better, it's phenomenally better and practically eliminates the whole issue, but you get what you get. So now that we have, yeah, it's more expensive, but as typed, like there was a survey, what price would you consider good for fiber, and was like zum jedem price. It doesn't matter when this is the usual quality. Yep. Now we are no longer dropping frames after the initial spike, so it's now what would be considered a stable situation. So let's then move to the game and see what kind of havoc we have once we have different screen images, but apologies for the restarts, and it seems we are mostly stable now, so let's get going. New game, Necesse, which is kind of like apparently similar than there have been quite a few of the kind of crafting type of like top-downers recently. This is quite new and just came into the version 1.0, so this should be interesting. Let's see how it goes, and let's start a new game. So play single player, new world, survival, and this is stream_1, and classic. Yeah, classic seems good, and more world settings. Our seed appears to be genre. Let's type fluff as our world seed, so we should get especially furry specialty, hopefully. There we go. And we do have character. We have created. There were no furry skins in general. There were mostly like choose your hairstyle, choose your facial hair, choose the color of your shirt and your shoes. There apparently even are no pants, so fair enough. Let's use this character, and then here we are. Walk close and talk to the elder to learn about the game. Sure. Hello there, mister. You're running away. I want to buy something. He's only selling revival potions for settlers, and can explain. Potions can be found in chests or crafted on the alchemy table, yeah. Trinkets can often be found in chests or sometimes crafted, yeah. This is pretty much like, yeah, you can craft a lot. Could find or craft workstation from inventory crafting. Sure, so first of all we need wood. Let's start swinging our axe at trees. So let's first of all cause some deforestation. So we got some spruce logs, there we go. Then we can also probably convert these loose logs into timber. There we go. And this should be sufficient, so let's craft the workstation even here in the courtyard, so maybe we have less trouble. We should also craft torches. There we go. And then workstation. Alright, we have workstation. So let's use it. So we can craft more crafting stations. Find and craft a wood pickaxe in the workstation. Equipment, wood pickaxe. Sounds very convincing. Go to and use the ladder to the underground. That sounds hazardous. You could probably also apply a bit more display scaling, because we are at 100% if we scale like 130, it is actually quite readable in Fursuit, or 140. Yeah, that looks great. And then we could also think you could also scale was it that you could also scale the world? Apparently not, so I think that works well. Then we need to find the ladder to the underground. Whatever that might be. Just a mini-map. Alright, the ladder to the underground is in the house of the elder. Alright, we most probably need to use the torch. Wood sword, crafting guide, worm bait, spruce clock, oak log, grass seeds. It would be useful if we could use the torch, so let's put that in a quick slot. There we go. Now we are illuminating as long as we are. Trinket slot, mount slot, head slot, cosmetic head slot. Apparently we can't put the torch. Crafting, yeah. But if we put the torch there, nope. Alright, wrong. Ouch, that's not good. Cracked weld in a machine sounds problematic. Yep, that's why there used to be, especially, and there still are for like the kind of machine servicemen, there are welders that are powered by internal combustion motor. So you can weld anywhere you can use the internal combustion. So how do we actually... Alright, we are also taking damage. You died, yes. So probably using the wooden sword would be a good idea. So how do we use the wooden sword? And what can we do with the torch? Can be placed. Alright, let's place some torches here. That looks much better. And then it would be good to be able to use the sword. Alright, so we practically hold it with the cursor and then beat the zombie with it. Alright. That seems very handy. Let's first of all put a torch here so we see what we are mining. It looks like it would be mineable. Yes. Alright, now we have some copper ore. Ores are used to craft bars, which are used in many recipes throughout the game. You can find all kinds of ores, monsters and treasures in caves. To find out more about caves and biomes, open the adventure tunnel to the right of your inventory, go to surface and start your settlement by placing a settlement flag. You can find one in the starter house chest or craft one in a workstation. Interact with the flag or press C to open the settlement menu. And then we have some fast problem. Hello, Mr. Goblin, let's get rid of you. Alright, he even dropped some coin. Great. Let's then use the right. Sleeping. Alright, we fell asleep, so we can wait for next day. Yeah, they are quite expensive, but exactly it is the kind of certain way to get welding action without wired electricity. Wake up. Open the chest. It has health potions. Bread. Alright, we can eat some bread. Local dungeon map. Local village map and settlement flag. Fair enough. Alright, sheep invasion. To think that this would be a good place for settlement because it's open and otherwise nice. Confirm. Now it has our picture on it, very good. Push C. Select settlers. The settlement menu is where you can manage your settlers. Settlers help you gather resources and can join you on adventures. Sure, we have no settlers. It looks like the elder has a quest for you. Go pick it up. Alright, seems like the old geezer is. Alright, there. Kill evil's protector. That sounds very easy. Easy like. How about killing? Just. Alright. Summoned at night by using a mysterious bottle. Reward. Lunchbox. The reward and the risk seem to be in perfect balance. Accept quest. Evil's protector, really. Elder quests are major objectives that you can work toward, but feel free to discover the world at your own pace. Good luck playing and good luck exploring. And that was all there was to the tutorial. Sure, we have no settlers. The old geezer wants us to kill evil's protector, summoned by mysterious portal, to give us a lunchbox. Sounds like perfect balance to me. Alright, we haven't dropped that many frames, so we are surviving at this data rate. And indeed, greetings to Nerdaxic and good to see you here also. So, we are then going to try and discover more. At least we now know how to. Yeah, it has been a while. I first had Eurofriends and East, and then had to both prepare and be one of the organizers at Finfer Animus, so that also took a considerable amount of wind out of the streaming endeavors. But now we are back, and again trying to do the streaming thing quite regularly. There's still flu convention-wise the coming month in Belgium, but otherwise event-wise we are mostly done, so we are quite good to go for more streaming also, and we do have the 250 follower charity special coming up quite soon, whenever I have like the right time for it, that can reserve a day mostly for the charity special, so should be good. Oh, and we can get also game audio, now that remember to push it on. Not that it is spectacular as far as have heard it, but it's good now that we have survived all the bandwidth problems and whatever, we do have game audio. So we should be rather good to go for more of the game, and indeed. Oh, one shelf did not go anymore because it was not really vacation day wise when one considers how crowded it is. Didn't really consider it worth the vacation days anymore. In turn did get room for Confused, so will be again Anarchy in the UK, like apparently every other year now, so yes, it will be then again the coming year instance of Anarchy in the UK. And of course it's like now exotic travel outside the EU. Whatever, Mr. Cameron. Yes, let's return the game and see if we get more resources or whatever. UK has always been, you know, even when UK was in the EU, they had separate additional border checks, and it has always been termed the CCTV nation, like most CCTV apparatus per capita. It has been the case for very long. It is what it is. Have been actually until some years ago was at every Confused since the beginning. Did actually display the conbook of the first Confused at the Furry Museum at Finfanius. UK has always been special. Let's put it that way. And they are also special as far as the internet goes. And mostly they have always been. It just seems to be getting new flavors. Alright, let's see. Can we like get the stone? Break the stone like with what? Wooden pickaxe maybe? Yes, we can actually break stone with wooden pickaxe, which is a wild proposition. Alright. We have no settlers. Answer, do we need to do something like build houses or something? Can we like put these to the quick bar? Do not think the crafting guide is very useful, like let's swing the book. Yeah, we can put these to the quick bar. So that is the correct method to use, like the... Can we also put the torch to the quick bar so we can practically bear the torch at will? Would think so. Worm bait, use while fishing. Alright, so it's for fishing. Yeah, we can bear the torch. Nice. So, there are not very many settlers in our fine settlement. Perhaps also eat a bit of bread. because it spoils. So, all right, bread went in the maw, and it restored. Let's see what we can craft. All right, equipment: wood pickaxe, wood axe, wood shovel. Wood shovel. All right, wood sword. Yes, wood spear. Wood bow. All right, wood boomerang. Yes. All right, we can also craft torches. We could probably craft a few more torches. There we go. Ladder. Cartographer table. Alright, we need map fragments. Storage box. Stone wall. Stone door. Very well. Snow stone wall. Alright, that sounds quite specific. Stone fence. Yes. Tiles, miscellaneous, wood boat. Alright, let's make a boat and put it into the mount slot, so we have mounted a boat. We can also craft a campfire, roasting station, and we already alchemy table. Alright, we can make more potions. Fort. Alright. Let's build a fort. Okay. And then we can transport it until we want to place it. That's easy. Like, how about transporting a stone fort? Let's put that to our fine settlement. Like, start the settlement by placing a fort. Sure. There we go. Fort. So we add fuel. So it takes some logs. So we have fuel, and then we put copper ore in. Alright, and fuel is spent and it gets turned into copper bars. Yes. And it's very hard to not remember the jingle that was in previous revision demo party. Nowhere snow. Alright, so we converted it into copper bars. And our fuel was spent, but not excessively. Great. And we do have extra health from eating some bread. Most excellent. Oh, hello there. Hello there, Tika. Let's also greet you properly. Good to have you here, and indeed we are back at it, so great to have you join us. And then we can move back to the cave. Now we even know how to make copper bars, so we can probably like make some copper, whatever, copper axe, copper sword, or maybe if we could find some tin in the mine, even bronze, that would be like technical height of achievement. Bronze items, wow. Technical height of achievement, bronze introduced. Very well. Let's see. Do you think night is also falling? So might be a good idea to sleep. I am not interested in trying to get rid of evil's protector tonight. That sounds quite ambitious. There we go. Bed utilized. Alright, we are quite conservative. We go to sleep at 6 p.m. Alright. Conservative sleeping schedule. We are being reasonable. Alright, we woke up automatically. We are being reasonable, that sounds good. Alright, can we now then like make copper add workstation to settlement? So do we need the workstation or which? Let's make another workstation to the settlement. There we go. Alright, we threw the workstation without setting it up. There we go. Now it's attached to the fort. Can we now make like wood? Yeah, but how do we make bronze items? Wood shield. Lucky cape. Wood sword. How do we actually? Gravel can be placed on most terrain. Landfill. Alright. Stone floor. Let's make a few bits of stone floor to beautify our crafting area. There we go. And we need more wood, so next time timber. Very good. We should also pickaxe that so we get more stone. Looks good. Then do still wonder how to make the, if we put copper bars here, we apparently can't put copper bars there. Alright. Upgrade the demonic workstation. Yeah, that sounds kind of. So now we can make wood swords. Can we somehow upgrade? Only craftable. Alright. Whatever that effect was. Use nearby inventories. Alright, so it shows like what inventories are being used. But it still doesn't give us any bronze. Like probably it requires bronze rather than just copper or whatever. That is not very well explained yet. Alright, so let's then see what else we can do. Let's craft also a wood shovel. Can we use the shovel like to remove the flower patches maybe? Let's see what shoveling here does. Apparently it didn't remove the flower patch. Alright, so we have some flower patches at our stone floor. What does shoveling? Alright, we get apparently sand. Alright. You can probably do something fabulous with the sand. At Animus Convention game, the shovels were very popular. Here we apparently can't remove the flower patches with a shovel, so yeah, it also just like digs a hole. Alright, sure. Let's go and see if we can mine something useful. Alright, it seems the torches do last a good while. So let's place more torches. Nice, like a wall torch. Alright, it's short time. Hello there, Mr. Goblin. How would you like to expire? So no further minerals here. There's even a mine cart. Alright. Alright. Suspiciously tall goblin. What is it like? 3 goblins in a trench coat. At least they have very fancy hit. Like, yeah. Alright, it turned into 3 helmet goblin. Sure. This is starting to look quite dangerous. Zombie archer. Alright. It was a lot of fighting. Cold bar, wow. More torches. Coins, ninja star, torch. Stone arrow. We can also break the columns. That sounds like a great idea. Let's break the columns in the dungeon. Maybe it will collapse on us. Alright, there are even like stacks of coin here. 126 coins, alright. Rapid potion. We have at least found a lot of stuff in the dungeon. Alright. Let's use. Alright, that is the elder's bed. So it might be a good idea to make our own. Let's see, can we make a bed? Like furniture. Settlement flag, egg nest. Feeding trough, stone fence, would like to make wall, window, granite door, granite wall, brick door, brick wall, stone door. Yeah, I would like to make a bed. Can you even make more beds? Egg nest, feeding trough. Nope. Alright, he woke up so we can quickly use his bed because we have not yet invented the secret of beds apparently. So, hello elder, we also sleep in your bed after dungeoneering. That seems most excellent. Alright, morning. Alright, we have someone here with chicken. Hello there, Mr. Animal Keeper. Will you join my settlement? 748 coin. Yep. That's quite steep. Our settlement rapid, alright, was worried that is wild boar or some killer. So it's just a rapid, so that causes less trouble. So let's then see about, alright, we have done about 45 minutes, so we have still half stream now that we got it working remaining, so let's continue. So it's daytime and everyone was very steep to actually join the settlement. Let's see if we can build some stone walls for our crafting shack. So, stone door, stone wall. Yeah, let's first of all make some stone walls. And put those here for quick placement. Don't think we need red flower patches. Alright, that went a bit wrong. Let's dismantle that. There we go. Then we need more stone, which doesn't appear to be readily available outdoors. There we have some. Alright, let's also eat some bread. Alright, this stone takes a lot of work. Let's eat some bread. There we go. Also could sip a health potion so we have full health, and then we again try to break the rock with the wooden pickaxe, which appears to be quite hopeless endeavor. Finally, that gave what, million stones. at least 24, so we can build more stone walls. This tree also seems to be taking forever. Like what? Really? It was probably some super tree, so now we can craft more. Stone walls. We can also place some fancy stone columns that we took from the dungeon, so our hall looks even more impressive with the nice stone column. Then we should probably make some more stone walls. Alright, that netted us only 6 stone walls. So there we go. And now we most probably can't get out because we have no stone door. Yeah, so let's remove one, one for now. Alright. We need to find more stone. There's also a bull that looks kind of dangerous. Alright, we do have some small stone. We have some more stone, so we can make a stone door and more stone walls. Unsure if this affects like that the settlers will move in because we have made a fancy settlement. And now we can put torches on our stone walls also for even more fancy adobe. Looking good. And then we should try and make a stone door. Stone door. Then we need some more stone walls. Now we first of all try to place the stone door. There's our stone door, and then we can place stone walls. Yes, I am aware that you would like to join, but you also keep demanding a lot of money. Alright. Yep. Now we can place the other fancy stone column that we took out of the dungeon, and then we need more stone floor. And we can place a few more torches in our elegant mansion. There we go. And we can craft a bit more stone flooring. Six should be sufficient. We still do not know how to make a bed. We do now have like a nice house. And we have yellow flower patch. Alright. We still do not know how to make a bed, apparently. Objects. Ladder. Yeah. Cartographer table, storage box, cooling box, settlement flag, feeding through, egg nest, wood wall, wood door, wood fence gate, stone fence gate, iron fence, pine wall, pine door, wall window, granite wall, stone door, stone wall, willow door, palm door. Yeah, we can make doors out of all kinds of wood. We can also make a roasting station, campfire, cooking pot, grain mill, compost bin, incinerator. But we apparently still don't know how to make a bed. Minecart, crafting guide, minecart track. Yeah. Really. We still have exactly one bed in the whole world. That's the settlement menu, like equipment. Yeah, that shows the settlers equipment commands. Settlers. Alright. Lock bed from settlers, but how we make more beds? Very clear. Alright. Let's walk through our fancy stone door and quickly before he uses the bed. There we are. And we still do not know how to make new beds. Alright, we do have really fancy settlement. Let's visit the cave and see what we can find next. At least the 3 goblins in a trench coat was quite dangerous. Alright, let's put more torches this way. Alright, there is some kind of lever apparently for the mine cutting. Yeah. That was not a... Everything exploded. Now we have stone forever. Like what? How about making the whole thing explode? We at least won't ever run out of the stone. Like, yes, let's push the thing and the wall dungeon just exploded. That is a result. Alright, now we won't ever have to dig for stone on the top. It appears. Alright, how we are doing time-wise? Alright, coming up to an hour, so let's do half an hour more and then finish for the night. So, let's then see about finding more things in the dungeon. At least we made really good explosion. Alright, there's some ore, so first of all let's get rid of the zombie and then add a torch and dig at that because there's some ore. Clay! What can one make with the clay? New resource. There are also a lot of crates that contain coins and various odds and ends. Gold bar. There's also some ore or something here. Alright. Copper ore again. Is this also clay? Yes. Can we like make what, pots and pans with the clay or... Alright, that was normal stone. There's also a crate here. Zombie archer. Let's try to run them down. There we go. Alright, do think we should actually fight with the sword and not the... Alright, let's see what we have, and now that we have new resources. So let's see how that works with the crafting station. We have some new resources, but we still do not know how to make a bed. It's a start. Map fragment, combine two for a map. Clay, mana potion, iron arrow. Minecart track, yeah, because we had the explosion. We also have 422 stone. Gold bar, iron ore. So we can try smelting some iron. Let's see if we put some logs. Apparently one would need more iron ore. Sure. Let's eat some bread in our fancy house. Copper ore. We have so much copper ore that we can make more copper bars. Let's put some fuel in. There we go. Forge activity. Crafting guide. Insert crafting material in a slot. Copper bar. Alright, we can make copper helmet. 12 copper bars, no wonder. Made in anvil, so we need an anvil. And let's guess, we need iron bars to make an iron anvil. Copper street lamp, alright, fancy. So the crafting guide tells us how to make table clock. Alright, 1 copper bar, landscaping station, fallen landscaping station, yep. Alright. And we have more copper bars. We need more iron ore, so we need to find iron deposit in the dungeon sooner or later. Alright, this is starting to look somewhat sane. We have about 10 million stone. We still do not really know how to make a bed. Let's see if the crafting guide can tell us. Let's put logs. What can we make with logs? We can make a apiary frame. Wood axe. Campfire. Training dummy. Bandit fence gate. Lahat cake. Oak chest, oak dinner table. Carpenter's bench. Alright, can we build a carpenter's bench? Workstation. Can we build a carpenter's bench at the workstation? Forge iron anvil. 5 iron bars. Alchemy table. Carpenter's bench. Again requires iron. We do have iron problem. So we need to find more iron. Let's sleep first and then consider finding more iron. And yes, feel free to tell in the chat how you are liking this game. It is very type of game that has been trendy, the kind of crafting, top-down retro-ish thingy which has been done quite a bit. So feel free to tell in the chat how you are liking the game. Would you like to see more of lack of iron? Whatever. It's morning and we shall go descend to the dungeons and find iron. That is our stated goal today. So torch is out and also swords. We shall discover a source of iron. Maybe. Alright, there's again. One of the zombies will have found a pumpkin. For whatever reason. There is a dungeon room here. Sure. Let's dig it out a bit with the pickaxe and open the door. That was a trap. Not good. Let's have a health potion, whatever. Alright, that's looking better. Yeah, walk right into the trap. Yep, this is kind of, as said, this is kind of a game that uses every trend in the book. Yeah. Hey, let's not throw away our thought selection. Open the chest. Alright. Mysterious portal. Yeah, that's the thing we need to call forth at night. Iron bomb. Yeah, like we needed that. Iron bar. 8. Alright, we can make things with that. Battle potion. Increases damage dealt by 10%. Sure, buff. Zephyr charm. Trinket slot. Increases stamina capacity. Yes, please. That was good. Let's dig a hole into the wall to not get again affected by the trap, please. How would you like a hole in the wall? Now we have enough iron bars to make the iron anvil. Let's also break that, as we wouldn't have enough stone after we caused the explosion. That was very explosive. Alright, sword out. Alright, they do also have an archer, so let's go and deal with the archer. Wherever the stairs were. Do you think that cross marks the stairs? Yes. Alright. Thank you. Now we have enough iron bars to make the iron anvil. It enables us to progress in terms of the crafting things. So, how do we make the iron? We have broken copper tool. Sounds very enticing. Broken iron tool. Yep. Can we melt them down in the forts or? Yep. So it turns into iron bars. So we can also similarly melt down the broken copper tool. Alright. Let's see the crafting guide. How do we make the iron anvil now that we have 10 iron bars? Cheese press. Yep. It makes about every possible item, including a red dining set. Sure. So now we should be able to probably we can make a tile bomb. Yeah. How about no? Alright, there's someone wandering out there. Casey the card. Alright, and he probably costs million coin. Hello there, Casey the card. How many coin do you cost? Will you join my settlement? 301. Yes. What can you do? I can help around your settlement with hauling, and I can join you on adventure parties. Yes, please. First settler, other than the old geezer. Alright. Why there is like work priorities, assign work. Alright, now we can assign things. Sure. And they also have an exclamation mark. I have no bed. Having my own bed would make it happier. Yes, I know the feeling. Let's see if we can make beds. Like how? Can we make the iron anvil now? We can make the iron anvil. Carpenter's bench also requires more iron bars. Actually, we have enough iron bars, but we need more wood. Yeah, that's easy. Once we have the carpenter's bench, we can make more. We can make more beds, most probably, hopefully. Now that we have enough iron bars, so let's deforest a bit. And can we now make carpenter station? Yes. Carpenter's bench. And also iron anvil. Wow, we are in the crafting business. Yes, our anvil. And let's also place the carpenter's bench. Wow. And we can make tiki torch, water lantern, oil lantern. No, I would be interested to make a bed. Oak desk, oak chest, oak cabinet, oak dresser, oak clock. No. Oak display, oak bathtub. Alright, we can make beds out of a spruce, but we need wool. How do we get wool? We have apparently also succeeded in losing our sword. Let's make a new one. There we go. So how do we get wool? Do we beat the sheep over with a sword, or... Hello, how do we get wool out of you? Answer if this is the way. Let's see. Raw mutton, wool. Alright, we got what? One wool. Let's wait for the day before we go massacring more sheep with the only bed in existence. Alright, our settler is also apparently lacking food. Let's throw them a bit of bread in the morning. Or something. There we go. So now we can see what kind of damage we have. What did we get? One wool. Let's see, can we get more wool? We got 3 wool. This seems quite inefficient way to produce wool. Can we make like shears and like just get the wool, because it doesn't seem very efficient to kill the whole sheep. Can we make like shears, tools, copper pickaxe, copper axe, iron pickaxe, iron, cold pickaxe, yeah. Melee weapons, range weapons, magic weapons, ammunition, armor, trinkets. There are no shares. We can upgrade into copper axe. Axe upgrade time. Alright. Let's see. Let's first of all get spruce, because you can make beds only out of spruce. Our fancy new axe. And it can only make beds out of spruce for some reason. Alright, now we should have enough spruce, so let's start having trouble with sheep. Wool. How much wool we needed for one bed? We have 7 wool, so unsure this is if this is the most efficient way to get wool, but it also makes sheep noise. It would require probably. Can we now make a bed? Ten wool, really? Sheep is cheap. And where's our settler? There's our settler. Let's throw some bread at him. Alright. Did he actually consume any bread? Hey, would you like to talk? How are you feeling? I feel very unhappy. This is a tiny settlement. I have no bed, but at least they have apparently now eaten recently. So we need 10 wool. Alright. Now we have 10 wool, so we can make one bed. We need to also extend our settlement soon. But now they will have their own bed. Wow. Let's place the bed there. Can we now assign the bed? Assign fertilized zone. Settlers. Now they have a bed, so they are just unhappy. Great. They have gotten a bed now and we can't get out. Let's remove the fort. We can put the fort into the corner. There we go. So now our very small room is navigable. And let me guess, Dustin the farmer. 376 coins, but they will also need their own bed, really. We should expand our building, so let's make some stone walls. About 1 million of them. We have also so much stone that the whole stone wall problem. We have 40 stone walls, so that is practically sufficient. There we go. Now we have more space for beds, but the next problem is that we Time to make more stone floor. And even more stone floor. We also need another stone door. Alright. We also need to remove make a hole in the wall. There we go. Now we do have a door. Good. Then we can add some torches to the walls of our fancy settlement, and now people are actually able to enter through the door. Good. Let's pick that torch up. There we go. And keep adding stone floor. There we go. Alright. Hello there, Mr. Farmer. You can join our settlement, but then we also need a bed for you. Yeah, do know that we should get you a bed, but we need more wool for that. So let's go and sleep in the house. Whatever they are walking around with the empty set sign. Alright, there's also a zombie here. Now I would like to sleep. Works. Alright, it was 2 AM, so let's sleep first. Good, then we can. Alright, you have the empty set sign. You are on strike, and why? My room's furniture selection is full. My room does not have complete floor. On strike because hungry. Raw mutton. We can apparently roast that. Let's build a campfire and roasting station. Yeah. They're on strike due to hunger, so let's build a campfire first of all. And we craft a campfire directly from here. Nope. There we go, now we have campfire and roasting station. I think the campfire should be utilized outside. It seems a bit hazardous to have that inside. We need fuel. And we can produce roasted mutton. There we go. We have fine roasted mutton. How do we now feed our followers? Where is our on strike man? Exotic merchant. Really? Local pirate map. Brain on a stick. Yeah, that sounds very useful. Turban. 226 coin. Yeah. Music player. Plays vinyls. It looks like a gramophone. Portable music player. Plays vinyls. Adventure Begins vinyl. Home vinyl. Forest Path vinyl. Yep. It has to it has to have vinyl music. How are we doing time-wise and how we feed our fine followers to not have a mutiny? We are soon getting. Let's continue a bit and then get our finishing sequence. How do we feed our followers for sure? Banish settler. Change settler's name. Equipment. Alright. There's our. Just gaze the card. How are you feeling? Now they are not on strike due to hunger. Can we now throw food at them? Yes. Or are we eating it ourselves? We can't apparently give them food this way. So modifiers, yeah, that was not my interest. We need a bed for the farmer, so we need to trouble the sheep. We again need plenty of wool. We need 10 wool. Production of pets is really wreaking havoc on the sheep population. Like, alright, we need one more wool. In general, the production of pets is causing havoc. There's also a cow. Cow give no wool. This way of producing wool may lead to a disaster. Stone arrow. Map fragment. Wow. Right, there are some cows and bulls around, but Apparently we ran out of sheep. Alright, there's a duck. Duck has no wool. Settlers are hungry and cannot find food, yeah. Assign chests with food to the settlement. Alright. That's fair advice. The main problem is that we apparently... Alright, let's make a chest. It's made from the other oak chair, double bed dresser. Alright, we need more logs. And they are again on strike due to lack of food. Let's do the fancy copper axe. Alright. Can we now make a chest? Yes. Oak chest, and put the mutton in there. And how do we now assign settlers? Assign work, equipment. How do we assign the change diet? How do we assign the chest? Restrict, unrestricted. Work priorities. Select all settlers. How do we assign the chest to the settlement? Alright, this is starting to look quite complicated. Normal priority, high priority, max total items, consumables, 18 unknown items. Alright. Raw food command is food. Now it's apparently assigned to the settlement, so hopefully they now eat the food from there. Now we need to make a bed, but we have only 9 wool, so let's rather go and cook the mutton and put that also into the chest. Now the chest has food. Hopefully they understand to use it. Command is roasted mutton. Hopefully they do understand to eat food. Click for help. Assign chest with food to the settlement. Assign chest, click green button and assign it to the settlement. We clicked the green button, so hopefully they now understand to use food from there. Let's leave here and see if we have more of a mutiny tomorrow, or if they finally understand to eat the roasted mutton in the chest, because we decimated the sheep population. Let's see, do we still have a rebellion? No, now they are just unhappy at the lack of bed, which we can't make until we get more wool. Let's see if we can find sheep further away. Apparently not. We should have a boat, so yep. This certainly isn't going to have any sheep. Apparently we caused a sheep crisis. There are cows, but there are no sheep, and two things, we can't make beds without wool, so that's a minor issue. It may be that we caused kind of an economic disaster, but that's thing for another day. We are pretty much done time-wise, and hope you enjoyed the game, and hopefully had good time. We are going to next week also do streams again, and it's really nice having you all here again, so let's see who we will raid and do that. Who's doing what? Let's see. Alright, Shad's playing Silent Hill. Voidbird is playing Minecraft. Sven is playing World of Warcraft. Jackal Puppet is playing Final Fantasy X Remaster. Alright. Let's see. It's been a while since we have done Sven either, so let's see if they are still doing World of Warcraft. Yes, they are. Right, let's rate them. There we are. Thank you all for joining, and it's great to be back with you all. And we certainly will do more. Schedule will be published for next week, probably tomorrow, and let's see how we do. So, thank you all and be well.